I'm here to share a message with you. And I already pulled out some cards and I'm picking up Persephone vibes very strongly. Persephone, the mythology, Persephone and Hades. And literally we have the underworld, we have the maid, and we have the offering, and we have the kiss. Tell me that's not Persephone vibes. And I feel like I've connected with this energy quite a few times. And it makes sense, especially this time of year. This is very like spooky season, it's sweater season, it's hoodie season, or whatever. Sweater season, it's hoodie season, it's fall, it's when the leaves are falling off, things are transitioning, and I feel like we get an opportunity to start something again. I feel like there's an opportunity for the collective to go deeper with their power. And it's interesting because I feel that we're going to get into the tarot and stuff, but I'm feeling like in previous messages, like if you go on my YouTube channel that this is connected to, my Substack is connected to, you'll probably see me in reference to Persephone and the story and explaining the story. And if you don't know the story of Persephone and Demeter, Hecate going down to get Persephone with Demeter, why Hades took her in the first place, like I would recommend you do some research on that story. But I feel like I'm getting that we're gonna get a different side to the story. I don't know. We're gonna go into it. We're gonna get into it, but I feel like there's an opportunity to go deeper with self, where maybe we even rid ourselves of some victim complex in some way, where, because that's what Persephone does, is she invites us to get into deeper power with ourselves, like embody more power within ourselves, release shame, which can help us with our creativity. And I think that she does this in a beautiful way with how she interacts with the underworld, with Hades, And so I'm picking up on this vibe, but I'm also feeling like we may tap into the masculine aspect of this too. That's just what I'm picking up from the music and all the things. So that'll be interesting. We're gonna get into the messages. I did pull some words, but they kind of feel separate from this. I don't know why, but maybe not, Um, words that I got, the first channel song was Breathe. Uh, you shared that song with me, but I forget who the people were. I was scrolling. Damn. I can't remember. It's like Xavier, or no, not Xavier. Javier or something. Breathe by Javier. Something. That's funny. Xavier just texted me. Mm, uh, he can come upstairs and talk to me if he really needs to. Because I can't pause it. Anyway, breathe. Then the first word was 0. So I feel like we're, like I said, transitioning. We're at this point in the year where things start to transition. Things start to, the leaves are changing. We're in this death and rebirth, like spooky season type of vibes, And then the next word was really interesting to me. It was not a full word. It's EAUX. It's like the French plural, the ending of a French word, and it means that it's plural. And in America, it shows up in Cajun surnames, So it's like, here he comes. Yes, I read your text message, but I'll have to do it after. Okay, you can just wait. Yes, Cajun surname. So maybe there's some ancestry here related to that space, either French or what's coming through is a revolutionary time, like the French Revolution, or like combining things because the crossover, like even the mixing of the cultures. So that's interesting. Um, anyway, let's keep going. So we have this underworld vibe with Persephone. We have Hades poking in there. It's not making or Hades and Pluto is kind of like I feel like somewhat interchangeable. So that Pluto energy is what we're in right now. We're going from well, I wouldn't say we're in it right now, but we're definitely preparing for it. Like people's vibes are switching to like that Halloween spooky. And we're in Libra season right now, but Mars is in Scorpio. Oh, masculine Mars is in Scorpio. That is that Pluto energy. Um, but we're gearing up for Scorpio season. Like I don't even care about Libra season. I'm like, we're gearing up for Scorpio season. That's what Libra season is, gearing up for Scorpio season because Scorpio season is always so intense. Um, no, I'm not going to skip over the Libras like that. But actually, I don't want to skip over Libra season because Libra season is typically when I come into some money. Typically when I have my Libra in my second house, that's when I get some money. So no, let's not skip over Libra season. 10th house world. It kind of flipped all crazy. 11th house friends. 12th house down. 10, 11, 12, like in that order. Interesting. I don't think I've ever had the cards come out like that. Like in a long time, at least. In Destiny. So we have Gemini. The way this is showing up for me, there's something that the collective is being invited to sit with within the underworld, within to release some shame around something. There's some creative opportunity that Pluto is going to present to you for you to transition something that is going to help with your career. That's going to help you present yourself more authentically. That's going to help you with communicating more authentically. So that the right people can find you. Yep, seventh house partners. Libra, I balance in the reverse. So that's a lot of, it's like, I just got a notification that says, get excited. New things are here. So whatever you're prompted to do at the moment, I feel like there's going to be some situation, or maybe some deep emotions that come up. Maybe even a partner a masculine that brings out that mirrors back something that is difficult to look at. And there is an invitation to release, to do some work around integrating this because it's actually tied to your career or your working path or whatever. There's some aspect of you that needs to be like, you get what I'm saying, but I'm just getting drawn to the numbers because we have 31, we have 32 is missing and 33, but we have 34, 35, 36. We have 48 and 15. Um, Specifically, it's like I feel like a conversation. There's going to be somebody within like a more of a it might be like triggered in like a friend group or like even online or something. Somebody says something that just it stirs up something for you. Um that comes from the subconscious. It may be something, that you haven't wanted to look at or whatever. But I feel like it's so interesting because we have this Gemini and then we have the seventh house. You see how these two people are separate at one point? It's like just maybe mental, even with Gemini energy. but then the 7th house, they come together. There's something this could be like soul clients, this could be, um, an actual partnership, you know, especially because we have the offering and the kiss here. You know what's coming to mind too? I had somebody text me today that I hadn't talked to for, like, some months, a couple of months. I hadn't seen this person for a couple of months. They're like, "What's up? Like, how you been?" And I'm like, "Good, what's up?" You know what I'm saying? Like, "Why are you hitting me up?" But they're like, "I thought I was texting you this whole time. I was texting somebody named" Mariah, which is my sister's name. And that was so odd to me because I'm like, I have a sister named Mariah. Like, what are the chances of that? And also, it's like a misfire in communication. Like somebody has been dealing with the wrong person, and or but they maybe there's like a magnet. There's a drawing together when the transformation work happens. Like I don't know how else to explain that. I was just listening to something before I hopped on here that was saying she was asking like how is the divine masculine naturally attracted to the divine feminine? How like what attracts them? And she was saying that when you do your own inner transformation work, it sends out like this signal. And that's what this kind of looks like, right? And this is also the lover's card that she was going into. And she said she started the reading off with saying that once the feminine makes a decision about her path and she starts like convening with the divine and she's like on her mission work, which is 10th house, connecting with the being on in her destined path, then it's like the divine masculine turns to her because like, I don't know, it's like this thing that they have going on. The lover's card. It has like the angel and then the two people and the feminine is looking up at the angel and the masculine is looking at her. And it feels like there's either something that catalyzes you making this decision to move towards your destined path. It's like there's some kind of subconscious block that's removed, um or you transform it, alchemize it, and it looks like it catalyzes a lot of movement. Yeah, South Node life's debt, solar eclipse evolution. There's something like that's being moved currently because we're in this eclipse portal. Saturn, truth in the reverse. Mercury retrograde, reinvention. I feel like they're saying that there's something else that I'm missing. What am I missing? We're gonna get the tarot because I see the spirit on the bottom of the deck. There's something that is happening. I can't really tell you like what it's gonna be for each person, but I feel like there's gonna be a cataclysmic like event that it's like I don't know if it's something that makes you pissed off that like it's like okay, I'm just gonna focus on this, or if it's something that comes up from the past that you have to transform so that you can accept yourself a little bit more. It could be some adjustments are required. Expect powerful change in the reverse. Eclipse. Communication is key. You want a Gemini, a time rather to give rather than to take in the reverse. There's gonna be I feel like the cataclysmic thing is going to be a conversation. I feel like it could be coming from someone that you consider to be dark, not dark, but like someone that you may have signed off, someone that you projected onto a bit, someone that plays that Pluto role for you. Someone like that helps you to break out of this maiden mindset. What I'm hearing is like as if you weren't also a participant. because there's something where with the maiden and the offering, they both only have one hand, and then the kiss has two. And the same thing with the Gemini, it's like they're each are reaching out with one hand, and then in the seventh house, they come together. I feel like some kind of truth wasn't integrated because I think that you were only seeing it from a limited point of view, maybe from a point of view that that was only what you could accept at the time, you know? Um, I think that spirit really wants you to be in a receptive energy with a time to give rather than to take in the reverse. Um, and I think relieving the critical mind or that like Virgo bitchiness, you know what I'm saying? And I say that having Virgo placements. You know, like, not being so, like, uptight, like, being receptive to what truth is being revealed because you could easily critique or point the finger back at this person and miss the truth that's trying to be revealed to you that needs to be integrated. Um, yeah, confidence is the key to success in the reverse. Believe in the impossible. Blue moon. This is so interesting. I want to read the blue moon. Um, believe in the impossible. Believe in the impossible. I'm feeling like I flipped to a fiery climax approaches. Um, I feel like I don't like giving messages that feel almost like that could lead to false hope. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel that this is something that I feel like the collective has damn near signed off. Like this won't happen, or I would just won't see the full picture. I'm not like that's not for me, I guess, you know? Like I think that spirit at one point had um required the collective to, or again, not even required, but maybe it was just like a truth that you wouldn't be able to accept at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because we have the maiden here. It's like again, being kind of naive or being into the situation, not knowing the full picture, not knowing all of the information, you know? But there is something that is going to be revealed that I think will reflect something back to you that needs to get integrated within yourself. I don't know. Um, the blue moon, okay. As the saying goes, some things happen only once a blue moon. In other words, hardly ever. Card suggests you're about to get a rare chance that something one off could well be about to happen. This card is a very positive sign if you felt like you're hoping for too much or asking for too much from the universe. Whatever you're asking about, well, it might only happen once in a blue moon, but it can happen. However, this rare opportunity before you, this rare opportunity before you, is important that you believe in it. If you commit yourself that every year, and guess what? It won't go in your favor. Be grateful for this card, which is a reminder to believe in your dreams. Additional meanings for this card: miss this chance and it may not come back around anytime soon. And may only that's your sign. That's very random, but in the way of like, you know, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. This situation is unlikely to repeat. The teaching. There are usually 3 full moons between each equinox and solstice, and vice versa. Sometimes, though, we get 4 full moons in a single season. When that happens, the third of the season's 4 full moons is called a blue moon, so like 3/4 of the way. These days, it's popular to use the blue moon for the second full moon in any calendar month that has 2 full moons. That was confusing. I don't like how they worded that. Um, Anywho, I feel like this is interesting. I feel like I said, this feels like something that the collective was like, I'm just not going to understand the full picture about this or whatever. Or you started to make up stories to fill in the gaps yourself so that maybe you can move forward or whatever. And I feel like this person is going to be presenting almost in a dark masculine way to help you with integrating a truth that is going to be reflected back to you. I feel like it's also highlighting here what the confidence is your key to success in the reverse, that the collective doesn't have very much belief in this. And then when it says believe in the impossible, and also is highlighting that this is a special circumstance, that I think that this is out of uh one of y'all's character. However it's happened or is happening is out of someone's character, typically. Because it's like, this is rare, this is rare, this is not normal, blah, blah, blah. You know? So that's interesting too. Let's get into the tarot so we can understand what the fuck is going on. Because I want to say I'm getting confused, but I'm just like, I almost feel called to do like two decks because I'm feeling like a maiden Persephone vibe, and then I'm feeling this arc masculine. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to know which. Okay, I'm not gonna do this one. Sorry, I'm like figuring it out while I'm. I hardly ever use the Mystic Mondays, but I feel like with the Dark Tarot, it's kind of like a vibe, for the Persephone. Um, I need more desk space. Bad. Put the deck to the King of Pentacles. This isn't technically a Pluto-esque, but Pluto reminds me of when I look into him like esoterically, he helps you to dive into wealth, by uncovering power. So, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. I feel like we're going to use this for an overall, and then maybe the Pope Tarot for the masculine, and then the maiden one. I don't know. We're just gonna see how it goes. I'm just gonna go with the vibes. Let's see. What do we need to know in the situation? Because I'm temperance. Something is alchemizing. Something is changing. Something. The collective has had patient as well. Two of Wands. I feel like this has been like what I'm hearing is like a wild ride, because look at these cards. It's like something is trying to balance out, but then it's like emotional ups and downs and ups and downs. And I feel like the collective has had to try to make a decision about this without knowing everything, you know? But I think that also twofold, that whatever gaps have been, in the story have also played a part in helping the collective to, one, trust a little bit more, but also surrender. Trust, surrender. There's something else. King of Cups and the Ace of Wands. That is this dark masculine energy. This is giving like a dark masculine that's like they understand what they're doing. They know what they're doing. If you think that they don't know what they're doing, or haven't known what's going on, they do. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're waiting for the right moment for something. Yes, the Fool, to like start something again. They know exactly what the fuck is going on. They're waiting for or this is showing up as like spirit is waiting for the time to be right. Eight of Cups in the reverse. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Whoever this is, and now it's making my I'm getting hot with the moon. It's like something that you can't see, but you can pick up on. You pick up on the vibes. But Eight of Cups in the reverse, they never left. It feels like something never left. I don't like that this almost feels like a game though. Nine of Wands and the Queen of Swords. And that's where I feel like picking up on like the other side of it, like the feminine side, it feels like um I don't want to say bitchy, but just kind of like how I just said, I don't like how this feels like a game. You know what I'm saying? Like this feels like um you're trying, but then it I see what's happening because it's almost as if the masculine shows up with more trust than I feel like the feminine does. Does that make sense? It feels like whatever gaps that I was saying in the beginning, it feels like whatever gaps have been there, is to help the feminine with surrendering into more trust into a bigger plan. I almost feel like this masculine energy has, I wouldn't say more trust, but it's like I think more trust in divine timing, and that I don't feel like they ever left. That it also gives there's an undercurrent of dynamics of like a dark masculine dynamic where it's like they understand that this may feel a little bit torturous or like a game or something to the divine feminine in a way, but like low key understanding that there's a purpose for it. Like it feels like a training, you know what I'm saying? But like not that they're training you, but it feels like they're being guided not to do something and they understand, maybe not even an unconscious level, but they're obedient to a certain degree. And it feels like they understand though, and they trust that this is not done yet. But for you, maybe for the, if I'm reading for the divine feminine, which I feel like I am, I feel like it's like unbearable damn near. It's like, this is not fun. This feels hard to me. This feels like I'm not getting any enjoyment or any pleasure out of this, you know? Yeah, so the 7 of Wands in reverse, it feels like in the 8 of Wands in reverse, feels like you wanted to put up a particular boundary or, like you feel like you have to protect yourself against whatever game this is. Because you don't want to feel like you have to defend yourself in playing a game, like you don't want to play a game. But what if this was like in the context of like a, dark masculine, like a power dynamic thing? What if it's a game and not a bad way? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I'm trying not to get explicit. But this doesn't you're like, "This doesn't turn me on. This is not a fun game." But, this is actually it's not actually that. It's like, I think that it can be mirrored in those dynamics, but this is more about divine timing and trusting in divine timing and how that could even be mirrored in those types of dynamics where it's like, maybe you don't even know when the time, like maybe your divine, like I'm gonna say divine masculine, but this masculine is very in tune with the emotions, the King of Cups, with the Ace of Wands. He knows like how much to turn it up on, like, when it comes to like someone's sensitivity or not. They're very tuned into the emotions. You're very like tuned into the energy. So it's like, I think that they have an inner knowing that's granted by spirit with the Ace of Wands. Like, you know, they almost know what it feels like when it's like go time. You know what I'm saying? They know, and maybe you don't have. I feel like this is so hard to explain without like coming off condescending on one side or not, but it's like maybe you don't even know your tolerance for like surrender and like waiting. um I don't know if that makes But with the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like something obviously is taking a turn. And I don't even I feel like the masculine more is showing up in the way of like they trust. They trust when they'll know when it's time. They are in a surrender kind of thing, but they never it's like a thing of never leaving, you know? They never necessarily left a certain situation. And this is maybe why I went into the deviation of like how, um, you know, you may look at this masculine, whatever this communication happens, this rare communication or whatever happens, that they're playing like this Hades role or whatever because like interpret it as like them playing this game, you know, um, or something like that. What is the wheels turning to? The fortune is upright. The chariot and the 10 of pentacles. What the fuck? The tower, that's how I feel. And the queen of wands, that's Persephone. When you allow the time, whatever is coming up for you in these moments of ups and downs, emotional ups and downs, where this feels like a game, where you wanna put up a boundary, where you want to, like, give up. Essentially, this is what it feels like when you wanna give up. Spirit is saying that you can transform what is coming up for you into more inner power, inner strength. Eventually, it feels like the wheel does turn, and, when the wheel does turn, when this masculine, because the Wheel of Fortune is right underneath here, I don't know if you can see it. The King of Cups, when he has this Ace of Wands, when he gets that signal, the wheel turns, and then it's forward movement. It's the Chariot, 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. It's like and then you can't make it up. The King of Wands and the Queen of Wands on top of the 10 of Pentacles. This masculine currently is getting more in tune with the energy and understanding when a yes feels like when it's time, you know, when he feels that Ace of Wands, when he knows how to like wield the wand. And when you know with the Queen of Wands how to transform the dark that is showing up, the discomfort that's showing up in the periods in between. Because Persephone sits in the darkness and that's where she finds her power in the unknown, in all of the space that you can't see what's going on. And this is like where I feel like in this situation, again with the maiden here, you don't know what's going on. You're kind of in the underworld and you're like, what the fuck? You know, and kind of like, you know, the story, Hades Persephone, you know, like he kidnaps her and she's in the underworld and versions of the stories saying that she doesn't want to she never wanted to go down there. You know what I'm saying? Like but she's down there and it's because Hades recognized that she had tapped into her full potential, you know? Um does this masculine, it doesn't feel like this masculine is very conscious like as how I just explained that, like the Hades, he knew that she didn't tap into her full potential type of thing, you know? But when you guys are aligned, you know, y'all are going to trigger one another to grow. Anything else with this deck? Yep, Princess of Wands. That's the maiden. That's the innocence going from Princess of Wands to Queen of Wands, and then the Knight of Cups. This is like the offering, you know, with the offering and the kiss. This is the offering to. Sorry, phone. This is the offering to the maiden to come into power, to come into this. That's interesting. Okay, I wanna get the pulp tarot. Let's look at this divine masculine's 2 of cups. The 7 of pentacles I saw on the other side that's waiting for the right time to come together. But this is an internal process. 2 of cups can also represent internal processes. But it's like this feels very external in my opinion. Oh, and the king of cups again. The 5 of cups, you're gonna want to or not 5 of cups, the 5 of wands. You're gonna be defensive at first. And rightfully so because rightfully so in the way that you perceive it right now as this like what the fuck game. But again, as I've said throughout the entire reading, it's like you don't understand the full picture. You don't see the full thing. This masculine perspective of what's going on, please. The moon in reverse. That tells that they see what's going on. They're not as in the unknown as you are. The 8 of Wands, and they can provide the clarity where you feel like this is a game, the Knight of Wands, Queen of Swords, 7 of Wands in reverse, the 8 of Wands in reverse, where you're like, I'm not getting any communication. I don't know what's going on. Like, this feels like a game. I'm not even, like whatever. They literally are showing up as the opposite, like with clarity and like they can provide the answers for the communication or mishaps or whatever. Yeah, King of Wands in reverse, but they're waiting for that spark, waiting for the time to be right, which I feel like they're only going to get that signal from spirit. Yes, the hangman, they're literally waiting. The chariot in reverse and the queen of swords. Damn, this is kind of showing with the Queen of Swords and the Chariot in reverse is kind of showing, and the Queen of Swords is in the same position, is showing when you're willing to put your sword down, when there's not that defensiveness where you feel like this is all a fucking game. And like, and that is only an internal process. Like, this is something that is going to be, and that's why they're waiting for the signal from spirit because spirit is going to be able to tell, like, you're going to be able to like feel open. The Queen of Swords, she's not open, she's open to hearing the truth, but specifically with how they're perceiving it, the Queen of Swords, she has her sword up, like, play with me one more time. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so they're like, this isn't the right place, you know, like saying this isn't the right time, but they are it feels like they are waiting with the 3 of Wands, waiting for the right time or observing. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Why the Page of Pentacles in reverse? Within a Pentacles. That's a big jump. It's so interesting how their perspective mirrors what is going. Like they know something. They know something. They're not communicating something. Can you clarify the Page of Pentacles one more time? The 6 of Pentacles. They want to make sure that they can give you something because they picture their vision is the 10 of Pentacles, both. And I said, can you clarify the Page of Pentacles again? We have the 6 of Pentacles. That's giving and receiving. They want to make sure that before they come forward, that you would be open to receiving whatever offer that they're going to present. The Hermit in reverse and the Knight of Wands. It was just interesting because the Knight of Wands fell on the ground, but the Knight of Wands was the card that I ended on at the bottom of the deck here. So when this essentially when the thread softens, when you're in a more receptive energy to a truth that may be presented that may even be difficult for you to accept, they're also going to come in with something. It feels like something tangible, like an opportunity. Um, with Pentacles is something, tangible. They're going to come out of hermit mode, and when they come out of hermit mode, it's going to happen very quickly with the Knight of Wands, Seven of Wands, and the Knight of Cups, Magician in reverse. Magician was reverse here too. A Hierophant. What they are trying to avoid, yes, is feeling, well, one, they don't want to miss an opportunity. Ooh, so about to fall. Ten of Swords, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, miss an opportunity. They don't want to miss an opportunity. They want to come in like this knight in shining armor type of thing, like Casanova. They want to come in like, look, he's protecting her. This is Casanova energy. They want to come in like that, but they also don't want to come in like with you with a sword up. It may be perceived as being manipulative. But I think that they actually want to, so they think that they're trying to come in with something more tangible with the Six of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. So if they don't have anything to come in with tangible or something like a way forward, they're not going to come in. And they haven't also felt like this signal from, I feel like, the divine, where it's like the coast is clear kind of thing. Am I on the right track with this? Three of Cups, the celebration, yes. And that's also confirming they would like to reconcile. That's a card of reconciliation or coming together in celebration. So I'm like, does it even matter to go into the other? Maybe yes. I have 17%, so we're gonna get into one more deck for the Maiden / Persephone pile to see what's that perspective. This is not how I pictured the reading going, but this is very interesting. Okay. I want to get the. Actually, let's just go with the gold. Yeah, let's go with the gold. I hear a song in my head, but it's like it's damn near an instrumental. It says, "Love, don't you worry." I don't know. High Priestess, three of, you feel it. You feel the reconciliation coming, you know. But you're like also very defensive to it, I think, as well. Hmm. Okay. It's a maiden perspective / Persephone in this spread. We have the King of Swords. This makes sense. The only person that the Queen of Swords wants to talk to is the King of Swords. With the Seven of Wands in reverse, you're like, I am open, but only if they give me the truth and only the truth. I don't want to hear any Casanova shit. I don't want to hear any, I don't want to hear any romance. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I don't want to hear any potential. I want to hear what the fuck has been going on. Like, first conversation, I want to know what's been going on. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's where, do you see the difference? They want to come in with, I think, following a spark with the King of Wands, transforming into the King of Wands. There's flirtation there's passion, there's desire. And then there's also the King of Cups. There's emotional connection, but the feminine showing up up every time is like Queen of Swords, I want the truth. I want the truth, you know? And not to say that this person isn't going to reveal the truth, but this is the version of them that you want. And I don't think that they're in that energy. So there's yeah, the 8 of Wands, you're like, that is I want communication. I want truth, you know? Like that's the only thing that seems to be on the mind of the feminine. You know, like I want forward movement, but I want it to be led with communication. Yeah. With the Hierophant, um, um yeah, Justice in reverse and the Chariot. Yeah, you're like, I want you feel like that's the only right way to do it. You know, with the Hierophant, it's about doing things traditionally or doing things the right way. And with Justice in reverse, you feel like you've been wrong to a certain degree, you know? And how are you going to move forward? How are we going to be able to integrate and move forward? The Chariot have and be on the same page, you know, because the Chariot shows the two different horses, the light and the dark, you know, kind of almost going in two different directions, but you have to, but the warrior is supposed to hold them in, you know, so that so that he can go straight. So like if we have some things in the past that are pulling us in two different directions, the past and you know the future, how are we going to do that without the truth? That's kind of like the perspective of you know the maiden, the feminine. And so we have 5 of Pentacles in reverse and the World in reverse. I think that's what is interesting because you don't want just because you are wanting the truth does not mean that you want to leave this person out with the 5 of Pentacles in reverse or that you want to be left out. You just want the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, that part can't be left out. We can't close a door on a past chapter without understanding and integrating with the Hermit here on the bottom of the deck. You're like, there has to be an integration process. There has to be some work done first. Um, and it's interesting because the reading is showing actually that the feminine, I mean, if you're projecting, I guess, onto this other person that they need to do some integration and you guys really are a match, you know, maybe you have to do some integration. There's something nice. The both sides need to integrate something. You know what I'm saying? As much as you're demanding the truth about something, I think that it's interesting that the beginning of the reading is showing that the maiden is going to transform through something, is going to integrate something, you know? So yes, the star, and that's healing. That is so interesting. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is it? Knight of Pentacles, the King of Wands in reverse, the Ace of Cups. Is this upright or reverse? Reverse. Hmm. The perspective of the divine feminine is that there has to be the truth is healing. You're requiring the truth. The truth shouldn't uh require that each person has one of y'all feel rejected or left out or anything like that, you know, like the 5 of Pentacles energy, or that just because some truth is presented doesn't mean that we have to stop talking again, you know, like with the world, it's like we have to close out a chapter through the truth. The truth is healing, and that's how we move forward slowly but steadily. And you're thinking like this perspective of the feminine is saying is a lot of focus on a lot of masculine energy, you know, about what they need to do with the King of Wands in reverse. It's like the ego, you know, and then the Ace of Cups, they need to love themselves more. You know what I'm saying? They need to accept the truth about something. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel that yes, with the Queen of Wands, you're like, I'm in my power. I'm ready, you know, I'm ready for them to be upright, you know? But I feel like, yes, with the Page of Swords, there's something that spirit wants you to get curious about that like the archetype of Persephone and Hades is presenting you that there's something that this situation is presenting that is going to allow you to be actually in your power. Um, yeah, the Two of Pentacles in reverse. That's telling me that not everything has been integrated with the Nine of Swords in reverse as well. And I think that is something that is completely off on your own, which is why the space in between is required. Because with the Nine of Swords in reverse, they don't want you to worry about this. They don't want you to like be, the nine and the page is like they don't want you to feel betrayed by this time and space apart. They don't want you to feel like you're not a priority. Like this is all confusion, energy. This is all like misinterpreted, like as if you and this person are against one another when really you and this person are showing up as, you know, they keep showing up as the King and Queen of Wands. um it's y'all's perspectives on the situation, I think, is different, and it actually is very surprising to see that the masculine has an understanding about um timing that I think that the feminine has not integrated or used this time for like everything that it could be used for. Yeah, the Nine of Pentacles, like this is the time for the feminine to be like really building herself up, really listening to her guidance, really feeling like independent and like good about herself, Like when the time does come for a masculine to present themselves, are you going to feel like this? Or are there going to be a bunch of insecurities that pop up as soon as like you meet somebody that just tells you that you have work to do? I've definitely felt that feeling before, with the Two of Wands in reverse, the Temperance and the Nine. Yes, and they're saying that this period of time is not for you to ruminate or project onto another person, about like what could be happening, what is going on, blah blah blah. I don't have the truth, I don't, blah 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 blah. Spirit is saying that again, bringing us back to like the first card in the original like spread or whatever. It was the Temperance card. This is a time of transformation and changing something from the inside out. And this is actually on a soul level, I feel like what the collective is desiring, because it's a Nine of Cups, you know. This is actually exactly like you're exactly where you're supposed to be and doing what you're supposed to be doing within this dynamic. As it is as painful or as many games as you think have been being played, it's revealing to you those places within your mind where maybe it's not, yeah, where you have some work to do with the Eight of Pentacles. I don't like it either. I don't like it either. Yeah, the Four of Cups are like, yeah, we know you don't like it. Like, there's been this opportunity being presented to you this whole time. And you're like, where's my Three of Cups? When is this reconciliation happening? When is this truth going to happen? When is this reconciliation that I keep picking up on? Where is, and they're like, you're not doing your part fully. There's something else. There's more. Yes, the Fool. The Fool, the Six of Swords, and the Nine of Wands, and the Queen of Cups are reversed. Um, they would like you to be able to be a little bit more carefree when it comes to the situation, not as I really feel like the maiden isn't so much about naivety in this situation. It's about kind of like a victim complex when it comes to the feminine side of like, really projecting onto the masculine. And I'm feeling like the only naivety that I pick up is not having the full picture. And so then the mind tries to like, create a bunch of scenarios so that we can, cope with this when they're saying that thought process is what needs to be worked on. And you should be able to live carefree on your own, build yourself up that Nine of Pentacles energy, and really pour into yourself. With the Queen of Cups in reverse is telling me a lot of self-care, but there's like to be able to move away from this energy of like this stubbornness, this identifying with, I feel like, the one that's been wronged in situations, in love and romance situations. Connecting this all back to, I think that this will be very much tied to you being, when I say in your power, I think that this will also have, to do with your career and your like your soul path, like destiny. We have the 10th house, 11th house, 12th house, destiny, and then communication, and then partnership. So while your mind may be telling you that is going to happen the other way around, I feel like the more energy that you can focus on blasting through those, what was my channel words? Shatter was the next one. Shatter. Um through what feels like glass ceilings when it comes to your career. We have talked about so many times on this channel or whatever, that career, like money and love, are the same frequency, like that Venusian energy. So the more that you can love yourself, the more that you can transform Queen of Wands, get into your emotional alchemy that helps you with developing even further in your career or your soul path, the more that I feel like less focus and obsession goes towards this other thing. That is so interesting that this other person has a knowing that when the time is right, the time will be right. That is so crazy to me. That maybe that's so crazy to me, because I'm just like, that's not what I would expect. But um and I feel like they're saying, stop watching with the 3 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Stop watching, yes, stop watching the pot boil, because it's gonna feel like it's gonna take forever. You have plenty of other things to focus on, that they've been giving you an opportunity to focus on. That this situation has been highlighting, thought processes that could be focused on, as far as like alchemy goes, emotional alchemy and all the things. I feel like I want to get like a oracle card to wrap it up. I'm on 9%. So I'm gonna put this away real quick. This away real quick. So I don't have any space. Yes. I had just posted, I just saw somebody like my last post on my notes, my Substack notes. And I said, I'm beginning to realize how obsessive my thought process is. And I was thinking about a similar situation like this that was highlighting that to me. And I'm like, am I really this fucking obsessive, or am I just like, is it this situation? Is it like, have I always been this obsessive about things? Like, I was thinking about that today. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, this definitely goes for people that have experienced, or like been in codependent situations, where you've experienced codependent friendships, codependent partnerships and things like that. And it's like, you didn't maybe realize how, um, like mutually obsessive those partnerships maybe were, or the part that you played in them in this way, in the thought patterns and stuff, trying to get yourself to a more secure, healthy attachment style, essentially. Okay, we're gonna get from our Mary Magdalene deck. Cut the deck to Sacred Worth. So, and I think also there's something about like, this highlights something with scarcity too, with the worth thing too, because it's like, I was just thinking earlier too. Sorry, my mind is sort of going to different places. I said I saw something about like getting to the bag or something like that, or getting in your bag, or like, oh no, the song was like deep in my bag or something like that. And it's like, when I've made more money, when I've like made more things, when I got deeper into myself. And they always say like, you're the bag, you're the bag. And it's like, just allow yourself to go deeper within yourself, And there was something about, oh, with the scarcity thing and the worth, to even think that whoever is on the other side of your thread, whoever's on the other side, you know, whoever, it doesn't have to be a specific person because I feel like, especially as it's showing up here with the spread and the obsessive thinking, attaching this to one person in particular may not be great for the brain. But just like knowing that you have a person, that you have someone on the other side of your thread, and knowing that there is nobody else in the world that could like literally replace you because you're that person for that person. You know what I'm saying? Like affirm your worth in that way. You know what I'm saying? Affirm your value in that way. Like don't think of like, oh, if I did this then whatever, or like if I don't do this then, you know what I'm saying? It's like I know. I think that's like how I'm saying the obsessive thoughts. It's low key like a does anybody else do this? Like, I mean, I feel like it's signs of like a OCD type of thing, like a OCD type of thinking, And OCD can show up in different ways, but obsessive compulsive, where like I used to do this when I was younger. Like if I didn't make it down the hallway in so many seconds, like something bad is gonna happen. And it's like nothing bad is gonna happen. Like those type of it's like small things and sometimes it can like show up in other ways, like some people have to count something so many times or like when I couldn't go to sleep at night, I would add up all the alarm clock numbers, and if it didn't equal an even number, an odd number, or whatever the fuck it was, I would stay up until it did, and it's like literally revealing like how your brain can have some obsessive ways of thinking, and that definitely, yes, the mental countdown. It's like, how does this show up in relationship dynamics? I don't know. I mean, I can't think of like off the top of my head, except for like maybe obsessively thinking about this person, or if you do something wrong, or if you don't do something by this time, or like you have to do this right now, or else like it won't play out the way that you think it's going to play out, or something like that, The red thread, it flipped out. So cute. Good recognizes good. Someone's on your red thread. That just made me want to cry. Someone's on your red thread. It doesn't matter, like, release, who, what, when, where, but just know that the red thread exists. If somebody's on the red thread. Angels, I have never been alone. And so, like, even in these times of, feeling as though, because you have, like, we're on our Nine of Pentacles journey. We need to feel secure, healthy attachment style, all these things, like, and it can feel very lonely. I've been feeling that quite a bit. I've been like, am I tripping not dating? Am I tripping not meeting people? Am I, but it's like you're not alone. Like, and I think also this is highlighting even on a spiritual level, like look at how many people are up in the spiritual realms supporting you, you know? This shit is rigged. Spirit needs to quit playing. Yes. It's like they're look at them. They're like, who's on your red thread? Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop thinking about these humans. No. Surrender in the reverse. Like, yeah, keep saying that we need to quit playing. You need to quit not surrendering. Same. Yes, surrender. They're saying that is what the divine feminine is being asked to do. And it's so interesting going back to the beginning of the reading. I'm like, this masculine has, I feel like almost is showing up as more trust, as more surrender. Like they're getting into their 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 emotional healing. They're tuning into the energy and like they're I think as the feminine also with the Nine of Pentacles is like more in the physical realm, more in the getting deep into our bag. It says sacred words right here. Getting deep into our bag, like, and really, showing up in the physical realm. And I feel like the masculine is more showing up in and actually tuning into their soul healing. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like they're in a surrender, you know? That's really interesting. Last one. Judgment. the whole point is to be human. Judgment is also a card of rebirth. So, um, and that's what I'm going into was like, I think that there could be some projecting happening because we don't understand what's going on with the fem. I feel like the on one side of that reading, there's a lot more in the unknown than on the other side. And I think that it's by design that way. That's really interesting and really fucking crazy. Anywho, hopefully that helps. It doesn't cause more confusion. I feel like it's interesting because just even looking at these cards too, the Angels card and Judgment, and also on the Judgment card in tarot, um, it typically shows an angel at the top, you know? But they're both doing the same thing. They're both doing the same thing, and this is Yeshua, this is Mary, but they're both doing the same movement. And so there's, I think, judgment happening on both sides, you know? But I think that there's also forgiveness needed on both sides. That's been a theme that's been coming up. I think, it says the whole point is to be human. And so I think that there will be more understanding when um you guys see that on each side of the red thread, you guys are doing similar movements. That's so interesting. Um that's all I have. I don't know where else to go with this. So I hope that helps, and I will be back another time. If you guys are interested in a personal, go ahead and message me, send me a DM, or my stand store is / Maxine Samone. I'm pretty sure. Uh, Otherwise, have a blessed evening. Bye.